Welcome to the Intro to Paddling Tidewater course, presented by Paddle Trails Canoe Club. In this section, we'll look at water's vertical movement from waves, wakes, and the wind. We'll cover how these forces are generated, tips for paddling safely and effectively in them, and the importance of understanding fetch, swells, and localized winds. First, let's talk about waves, which are generated by wind. Their strength depends both on the wind's speed and how far it has traveled over open water. This distance is called fetch. The longer the fetch, the more energy the waves can gather from the wind, making them larger and stronger. You can measure the fetch by determining the distance from the last obstruction, usually an island or the mainland, to the location of your paddling trip. For example, if we're planning a trip around Duwamish Head in West Seattle, there will be almost no fetch with a south wind, about 2 miles of fetch with an east or north wind, 5 miles of fetch with a west wind, and nearly 10 miles of fetch from a southwest wind. Swells are also created by wind, usually from distant storms. They can travel for hundreds or even thousands of miles. Unlike locally generated waves, they tend to be smoother and more uniform, and they are not affected by local wind. This means that incoming swells and local waves can be moving in different directions, creating places of confusing water movement. They can also increase the size of local waves if both are traveling in the same direction. Fortunately, it's uncommon to see them in Puget Sound due to the many islands and inlets, which disrupt long-distance swells. If the wind shifts, waves tend to keep going in the original direction for some time. When the new wind direction blows against existing waves, the distance between wave crests gets compressed, so they will be higher and closer together. Your boat will go up and down more, and will cut through waves with less freeboard, increasing the chance of taking on water. Consider finding a safe harbor until the wind dies down. In addition to generating waves, wind is a key force to factor into your trip planning. A headwind can significantly slow your progress and tire you out more quickly. A crosswind can try to push your boat sideways or turn it into the wind, which is called weathercocking. We'll talk about the dangers of getting sideways in waves in a moment. Onshore wind is a common feature in the Puget Sound. This happens when the land heats up more than the water, causing warm air to rise from the land, creating a vacuum. This pulls cooler air in from over the water. It's stronger on hot summer days and can be very localized, so may not be reflected in wind forecasts. In this example, there's a south wind inland, which becomes a southwest wind at the mouth of the Snohomish due to onshore winds. Wakes are waves that are generated by passing boats. They spread out in a V-shape behind the boat, pushing water diagonally out to the sides and in the same direction as the movement of the boat. In addition to the waves themselves, they can cause the water to churn unpredictably, called wash, making paddling tricky. The size of a wake is determined by the boat's speed and size, its hull shape, and the water depth. Wakes tend to be larger in shallow water, which is usually where we're paddling. Always try to turn into a wave, so you cross the crest as close to 90 degrees as you can. If you are turned less than 45 degrees to the wave, it will be much easier for the wave to turn you so you're completely parallel with the trough, rocking your boat back and forth, making it difficult to control and increasing the likelihood of getting swamped or capsizing. If you need to navigate parallel to the waves, that is, perpendicular to the direction the waves are traveling, you should paddle at a diagonal, then turn and head to your desired goal, so you are always maintaining an angle to the waves. It's best to cross a wake at a sharp angle, between 45 and 90 degrees, just like other waves. You can also get some help from wakes. In this example, you're paddling along the shore as a big boat begins to overtake you. First, turn slightly toward the wake so you can see it coming and time your move. Then, just before the wake hits you, turn away from it at a 40 to 60 degree angle, and you should get a nice little push from the wake. As you paddle into waves and are descending into a trough, it may seem like you're going down when you want to be going up. But don't worry, the next wave will lift your bow up and over. To lessen the steepness of the wave, you can try quartering your boat over the crest, going over them at a 45 degree angle. Be careful in wavy conditions to stay far enough away from the shore to avoid breaking waves. Also, armored shores of rocks or concrete will reflect waves, causing turbulent conditions close to shore, with waves coming at you from multiple directions at once. Keep your distance from armored shorelines in wavy conditions. If wind is coming from the land, try to stay in the lee of the landmass to minimize its effects on your boat. If wind is coming off the water, keep your distance from the shore to avoid being blown into shallow areas. Check multiple weather sources before you head out and use the most pessimistic estimate for wind speed. And keep in mind that regional forecasts may not reflect local conditions, especially regarding onshore winds. It's a good idea to check the weather frequently and have a plan B in case wind or waves become an issue while you're on the water. Wind can be a big issue out on the open water of Puget Sound, while it's usually less of an issue on more protected tidal rivers and estuaries. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to watch the other sections of this course and check out www.paddletrails.org for more information.